I know this may be an unpopular opinion, but I love conversation hearts. I always have to get myself at least one bag over Valentine's Day because I actually love the way they taste and I think they're super cute. So anything that's like conversation heart designed, I usually buy as well to decorate around the house or whatever it may be. So in today's mani, I'm going to do a conversation heart themed mani, but I've done a lot of pink Valentine's Day nails lately. So I'm going to change it up a bit and make a peach themed Valentine's Day set. So if you want to see how I create this look, stick around and we'll get into it. Jumping straight into my mani, the base I'll be using is Resting Peach Face by Mani Boss. I thought about doing a purple base, but I figured since peach was the Pantone color of the year, that I would go ahead and do a peach mani. I don't wear peach often because I don't think it always looks the best on me. I think depending on the tone of the peach, it may look okay. Like this Resting Peach Face, I think is a good tone for me. But I think some of the peaches just make me look, I don't know, it just doesn't go with my skin tone, I don't think. So I'm really careful about what I wear when it comes to peaches. I am just doing my normal dip process using my Mani Boss dip liquids, and as my base, I am trying out the short square full coverage tips from Mani Boss. So far I've been loving them. I did also try previously her medium almond full coverage tips, and I'll leave the video for that above in the cards if you want to see my process for applying those tips. But these short square ones, I've had them on for 1 week, 2 weeks. It's definitely more than 1 week. I don't think it's been 2 weeks yet, but so far they've been great. They wear really well. They've got a really great fit to them, so no real issues with them. And of course, I do have on peel base as well, so that I can pop these off and create more content. So I'm curious what your opinion is on candy hearts, because I feel like it's a love or hate thing, and I feel like more often than not, I hear about people not liking candy hearts. And it's not like they have much flavor. I don't know what it is, but I've just always loved candy hearts. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I am a huge Friends fan. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I did a Friends inspired mani a couple months ago, so yes, I did mention it before. But anyway, I love Friends, and just recently I found that they have Friends themed candy hearts, and I was so excited. So they were a little bit pricey. I mean, they weren't super expensive, but for what they were pricey. So I found a bag on Amazon, and of course, I had to buy it. I didn't care that they were a little expensive for candy hearts, and they are just so cute. And I actually Googled it, and apparently they came out last year, and I never even realized. So that's probably why they were a little more expensive as well. They were probably limited edition. I don't know how I missed that, but I was so excited when I found them. Anyway, let me stop rambling while I finish up my first layer and move on to my second layer. after I finish with my full 2 layers of resting peach face, I'm going to go ahead and cap all my nails in clear, and this is really just a personal preference because it isn't a glitter. When you're working with glitters, you definitely want to cap them in clear if you're going to file and buff, or else you could file through the glitters. Resting peach face is just a shimmer, so I don't really have to worry about that. But I always am paranoid about filing and buffing through the color and then having it look splotchy. So I always like to protect that color and file and buff on top of the clear just in case. The Mani Boss Clear is a really great quality and I always highly recommend it, but there are a few tips and tricks that I always do for all the clears that I use just to ensure it's extra clear. So I always make sure that I put a little extra dip base, so I go a little generous with my dip base just so that that clear can be fully absorbed into the wet dip base. And then depending on if it's a glitter or not, I may kind of pat it down a little bit with my other finger just to kind of help it absorb a little bit more. I do it more so when I'm working with glitters because I want to make sure that clear is getting into like the nooks and crannies so it's a little more even. Sometimes I'll do it for solid, but not as much. And after your dip base is dry, you can go ahead and dust off the excess powder using a dust brush, but that's not going to be enough. So it does get off some of the excess dust, but you really need to use a stiff scrub brush. So make extra sure that your dip base is fully dry before you start scrubbing, and make sure you're scrubbing off that extra clear. That's going to make sure your clear isn't grainy or bubbly and make it extra clear. So let me show you the difference. So I'm going to scrub off the excess clear on my index finger, and you look at the difference between my other finger. So it's a lot clearer, even though for the other fingers I did use my dust brush. Scrubbing it makes it that much clearer. I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera, so here's how the Mani's looking. So now we're ready to get into some nail art, and I'm super excited to be trying out the Mani Boss gel liner sets. These gel liners are so pigmented and so pretty, and I'm so excited to finally be using them on a Mani because I've only done swatching so far. So I'm going to do just a little bit of color mixing. Don't worry, I won't show you all of it, but I'm kind of taking inspiration from my nail mat. See, I told you I love candy heart decorations. So I kind of like how it's got like the shadowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of color down on my palette, and then I want like a little bit of a darker version of that color. So I've put like 2 dots of the color on. One's going to be my regular color. I will end up mixing a little bit of white in there just to lighten it up a little bit. And then for this one, I'm mixing in just a tiny dot of black just to darken it up a bit because I want different shades of the color to do that shading kind of like that's on my mat. And I am using my dual-ended tool from Mani Boss. One end is a dotting tool and the other end is a liner brush, which I'll be using as well. She sent it to me maybe a month or 2 ago, and I'm just now trying it, and it is awesome. I highly recommend this. I really love that the dotting tool end is not very big, so you can do smaller nail art with it, and then the liner brush is really easy to use as well. So here I am mixing in that little bit of white just to lighten up the purple a little bit, just because I want that contrast between the light purple and the dark purple. So if a color isn't exactly what you want, don't be afraid to mix it up a little bit. So if you need it a little bit lighter, you can add a little bit of white. If you need it darker, you can add a little bit of black, or you can mix 2 different colors together to make a different color. It's a lot of fun to be able to do, and it kind of gives you a little more freedom, and you don't have to own like 892 colors. You can just mix up your own colors. I'm going to do 3 small hearts on my index finger, and I know you've seen me do hearts a million times, but just in case you haven't, I'm taking the dotting tool end of this liner brush and I'm just drawing 2 dots on my nail, and I want them close together, but I don't want them touching, so I'm being really careful to make sure they're spread far enough apart. Just in case it runs a little bit, I don't want them to run together. And then once I've got those dots at the right size that I want, I'm going to take the liner brush and then I'm going to draw downwards towards a point. So kind of drawing a upside down triangle from those dots that I created, and then I'll start filling it in, and that sort of kind of creates that shape. So I'm just going to clean up the lines a little bit, clean up the edges, make sure I've got the heart shaped the way I want it, make sure that it's large enough because I don't want it too large, but I also don't want it too small because I am going to attempt to do some writing on it, which we'll get to because I have some regrets. But once I've got that heart, I'm going to go ahead and give it a full cure for 60 seconds before I move on. Once I have that fully cured, I'm going to take the darker purple, so that's the purple I added just a little bit of black to darken it up. And I'm on that outer edge of the heart, I'm going to shade it in a little bit. So that's going to create the little bit of dimension. So if you can kind of see on the background of my nail mat, even though it's a little bit blurry, you can see the shading on that outer corner of the heart. So that's kind of what I'm recreating. So just a little bit of shading because it is a very small heart. And then I decided to try to get creative and do a little bit of words on my nails, which I highly regret because it is not easy. So even just this one, I wanted to do just a simple XO, and it was so difficult. I don't know how people do like this crazy, insanely detailed like nail art on such a tiny surface, because I could barely do an XO on this. So I don't know what possessed me, but I probably won't be doing it again after this nail. So I'm going to continue on and do a few more hearts and then I'll be back. been dying to use this color ever since I swatched it. It's called Rosé All Day, and it is the most beautiful rose gold glitter. So I'm going to use that on my middle finger. And the first design on the corner I did, but I was mainly out of frame, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to show you the rest of it. So I'm just kind of doing like a scalloped, diagonal, French tip kind of. I don't know, maybe it doesn't have a name. Maybe it's just a design I'm drawing. But I'm taking some of the black after I have that design, and I'm just doing a thinner line around the rose gold scalloped block that I did. And then I haven't cured yet, so this is all wet gel. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting up to the corner. I'm using the liner brush for this, which is really great for detailed lines. And then once I have this line down with the black, I'm going to take more of that Rosé All Day and do another line on top of that, just because this rose gold is just so pretty. So there's 3 glitters in this liner set. There's the silver, there's rose gold, and then there's the yellow gold. And they are all just so gorgeous. I find with some of the brands for their liner gels that their glitters are actually more like metallic. But these ones really are glitters, and I love them so much. They are just so pretty.
Here we go. Invincible.
I don't think I breathed the entire time I did that. Were you holding your breath as well? Because that was so hard for me. But anyway, now that that's all done, fully cured, I'm going to go ahead and use my Mani Boss 2-in-1 Gel Base and Top Coat. And I'm going to apply that as a top coat to all my nails and give them a full cure for 60 seconds. As always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles, and I'm using my Scales of Mermaid cuticle oil. This is in the scent What's the Scoop, and this scent always reminds me of summertime. It has that like really great fruity sorbet type scent to it, and I figured because the peach kind of reminded me of like a sorbet type color, I figured this would match my mani really well. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. I don't know what possessed me to try to do conversation hearts with little tiny letters. I mean, I'm definitely glad I did try it, but I don't think I'll ever do it again. And if I do, it will be a really long time from now because that was super hard to do. I mean, I always admired the ones that could do really intricate art on a little nail, but just trying to do a couple letters brought my awe of them to a whole new level. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this. And it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.